I think I shouldn't start from voguing. I feel like we should really start from ballroom in general. Like ballroom scene in New York started in the 60s. It was like a world for queer people, especially trans, POC, especially Black POC, Latin people to come together and have this world where they feel free to express any sense of queerness or femininity. Because like during that time, a lot of queers couldn't express themselves outside, whether it be drag, makeup, dancing feminine, or anything like that. They really had to create their own environment and world so that they can express these emotions and struggles of life without being judged by anyone in society. So that started in the 60s, and throughout time they created their categories, which are pretty much, I wouldn't say a competition, but it is somewhat of a competition to compete for the trophy and get that glory of who's the fiercest or who's the most real looking trans woman or whatever, who's the sexiest person. Voguing is a dance category in the ballroom scene, inspired by poses from the magazine Vogue. So these movements were put together by these queer people to emulate what beauty is in modern society, and also to feel fierce and to have the sense of empowerment through feminine movements. Throughout time, it evolved depending on what was, I guess, trendy at that time. So it began with Old Way, which is the original style of voguing. Then it moved into New Way, and then now Vogue Femme. So those are the three main styles of voguing. Well, when I was about 12 years old, I moved to Australia, and I had no idea who I was as a person. Like, I knew I was different from other people. I was more feminine. I liked more feminine things. And growing up in a very ethnic household, I wasn't allowed to express any of those. So I really had to just find outlets for my feminine side to come through. And during that time, I was in year 9 or year 10, I was really interested in dancing. So I started with contemporary, and then hip hop, and to me, those styles really didn't speak to me on a personal level. Like, it was really fun to do, but it didn't speak to me. So I looked around the city one time, and I was looking for these dance crews that I heard about from a few friends. Like, oh, they just train outside. So there was this crew that I saw. They were called Runway. Runway is a dance crew that focuses more on hip hop and feminine styles like voguing and whacking. So I saw them and I was like, wow, that looks so interesting. It looks so much fun. Ever since I moved, I couldn't really find anyone that was doing Vogue at all in the city. And I was by myself. I joined this hip hop crew, and the same thing happened. I couldn't feel the culture of hip hop being my outlet. It just didn't work for me. So I was like, okay, I need to find an outlet for myself. I need to find my people. I need to find the people that are struggling with themselves, like how I was before, and uplift them and give them this community that I've always wanted to be in. I was literally just really hungry to express myself in that sense again and be accepted in a community that accepts me and doesn't treat me as a token. Because a lot of communities, especially in like the cis normative communities, they see gay people as like, oh, there's this funny, sassy guy that knows how to dance really feminine. That's it. I wasn't really accepted as, oh, there's this really strong, effeminate being that is doing himself and living. And so I really wanted to have this community, first for myself, to have a community and have family. Second, for everyone else in Melbourne that don't have that outlet and are searching for that outlet. So with MVC, which is Melbourne Vogue Community, I really focus on culture first. So I teach them the history of Vogue, who pioneered the scene, who died just to pioneer the scene, and inspire them to live their fullest life. Because our ancestors in the ballroom scene couldn't. And now we have this opportunity to live our truth in the outside world. So I really tried to push that onto them so that even after the voguing sessions, they can still vogue outside and not feel shit about it, because voguing to me is so empowering. I don't care if any straight person or any homophobic person looks at me while I'm voguing. I don't care, because I know I have this family behind me, this whole community behind me that will always support me and accept the way I dance and the way I live. After that, all the history lesson, we focus on the foundations of voguing. So the foundations of voguing are 5 elements if you break it down. So you have hand performance, you have catwalks, you have duck walks, floor performance, and spins and dips. And that's only voguing. 7 and a punt. Pussy. Let's go. Are we all good? Get up. The most common misconception is the origin of Vogue. A lot of people think voguing came about because of Madonna in her track, but in reality, it came about way, way, way before Madonna even started creating that song. She really wanted to pay tribute to the ballroom culture and created that song. Another thing is a lot of people watch Drag Race and watch a lot of drag shows and think drag performance and voguing are the same, because a lot of drag use the dip, which is that drop pretty much like wherever you want it, and you drop on the ground and kick your leg up and head to the ground. So a lot of people think voguing and Drag Race are the same because Drag Race is a very popular show and people watch it all the time, and knowing that it's queer and focused on gay and queer expression, they just tie the two together and think it's the same. But I feel like it's not even the fault of people watching and being uneducated. It's more so the representation of drag in modern society. Drag Race, to me, is very Eurocentric. It's really focused on white queer expression and not really the black POC expression. So these cis heteronormative communities see it as like, oh, they're all the same. But in fact, there's two different scenes at this time. You have your drag scene and you have your ballroom culture. A lot of people in the drag community or people that watch Drag Race think that a dip is called a shablam or a death drop. Things like that really put a toll on ballroom culture, because right now drag is at the top of mainstream media when it comes to queer expression. So everything that they say on the show, even though it's not real, a lot of people just believe it. But the thing that really needs to happen now is for the Vogue scene to come up and take back our culture and tell everyone where everything started, the struggles that we've been through, so that we can establish our stamp on the world. It's not even like the drag community needing to separate themselves or anything. They just need to be a part of it and know the culture, because these drag queens don't know that the origin of drag came about in ballroom. A lot of drag queens just think, okay, I can put makeup on, do a little lip sync, and go about my day and start something fresh. When drag and the ballroom scene have been together since the start. It only separated because of mainstream media, because the ballroom scene wanted to stay underground and drag wanted to be seen separate to the ballroom scene. To me, voguing and the ballroom scene is already established. We're already in mainstream media. I don't think I really want anything to happen as a whole in the world, but I just want to focus on Melbourne at the moment in Australia. Because we have so many queer people in Australia and other countries that don't have Vogue, who have a lot of people, especially in the queer scene, that are marginalized and treated shit and don't have this outlet. So I want Vogue to be everywhere. I want everyone to experience Vogue, not just queer people, but even straight women. Anyone that wants to support it, all the allies, come through, join the ball, walk a ball, join a house, really live that culture so that they can understand what queers have been through all these times, and help us live our truth outside the ballroom scene, instead of just us having to create this world just for us. Because of course, we don't want to live segregated to everyone else. This is a thing that I really want from the ballroom scene. This is more on like a general, like worldwide sense. I want everyone to see us. I want everyone to see how we express ourselves and live our true selves on stage and even outside, because a lot of trans people everywhere are getting killed and they don't understand what struggles they go through. They just see them as this creature that shouldn't be there, when trans experience is literally everywhere. It's a natural occurrence. So I want everyone to understand that trans experience is a normal thing. And I feel like voguing in the scene will be a step into acceptance for them and the whole community, because first they'll see how much work we put into training, how much work we put into our looks, our walk, even our face. So I want them to see that first and be entertained and to enjoy the show. And to go home after watching a ball, I want them to realize, wow, all this energy has been like restricted and limited to this underground scene, when they could be living their life outside and getting a job. Because right now everyone's like struggling to get a job as trans people. A house, in the most basic sense, is a family. A lot of queer people in the world get kicked out of their homes because they're queer, or because they like makeup, or because they like the same sex, and they lose their family. So houses pretty much brings that family aspect of their life back. Me as a mother, my job is to provide for my children, whether it be monetary value, knowledge, manners, literally like a normal mother, because these kids have been kicked out and they have lost this motherly figure to guide them through life. So my job now is to guide my kid live their lives fully and express themselves in anything that they want to do. It's nothing about clout or trying to make it seem like, oh, I'm the best person in the house or in the scene. That's not what being a mother is about. It's really about family and helping each other out because no one else will, you know? You can have friends, but family is different to friends. And to me, I don't think that family really involves genetics or blood. To me, it's about your relationship with them, how much love you want to give to them, and the support you'll give to them no matter what situation they're in. And that's me.